There we are. All good. Let's start. Complete torture. Wait, where were we? I met with Yuko after work. She had work as well, so she seemed a little tired. Nagi hasn't considered the fact that I've drawn nothing but heads. My drawing of the motif I put together was terrible. Drawing multiple inanimate objects required a different level of skill than drawing a simple bust. No matter how I approached my motif, I couldn't meet the challenge. I don't know if I can keep this up for a whole year.
もう決めたんでしょ?だったら大丈夫ですよ。
We're only at the fundamentals. There's too much to cover. At least if I changed my mind, all that studying wouldn't be a waste. However, this was what I was aiming for. So much to do, yet so little time.
ゆうくん、ゆうこから一つ提案があります。
Really? What is it? I braced myself thinking that she was up to one of her schemes again.
私を描いてみませんか?
Wait. Hey, Beatrice. How are you tonight? Didn't she suggest this once before? I already told you I've never drawn a person before.
練習にはなるでしょ?
Well, chances are that I'll be taking... Chances are that what I'll be taking won't involve doing portraits.
それでも、いつかはナギさんも人を描いてみろって言い出すかもしれないですよ。
I guess?
だったら、その時モデルになるのはナギさんでしょ?
Yuko sulked a little. Aww.
ゆうくんが一番最初に描くのは、私じゃないと嫌です。
Her trickery hadn't waned. She knew how to hit my weak points. And of course, there was no way I could refuse. Yuko suggested we start immediately after dinner.
どういうポーズを取ればいいですか?
Anything's fine.
思いっきり投げやりですね。
She feigned tears. I'm warning you in advance. This will take a lot of time, so choose a pose that's easy and comfortable.
時間かかるってどれくらいです?
I don't know, but let's say it'll take at least an hour.
そんなにかかるものなんですか?
I feel like that's short, actually. She was regretting it already. Want to do this another time, then?
ゆうくんは街を作りたいんでしょ?
I guess.
だったらそこに住む人の姿だって描けなくちゃダメですよ。人がいてこその街ですよ。
What she said was overbearing, but she had a point. There's a person, and there's the room the person lives in, and there's a house. Once you gather enough of them, they become a city. Fine then, prepare yourself. Once I start, I won't stop even if you complain.
耐えますから、せめて綺麗に描いてくださいね。
Unfortunately, I can only draw what's in front of me.
何気に失礼なこと言ってますよね。
Come on, just relax. I turned to my sketchbook before she could say another word. I almost messed up the first stroke. The lessons I had with Nagi were painless compared to this.
ゆうくん?
I'm fine. Stay still until I get an outline done.
はーい。
There was no certainty as to when I would finish that. Why couldn't humans look less complex? Yuko, say something.
気が散りませんか?
It's like a game. I might be able to do better if I'm not so tense.
モデルさんとしては、できれば真剣にやってほしいところですが。
So, how were your exams?
試験。もう今では何もかもが淡い夢のように思えてきます。
Don't talk like that, dummy. So she fared poorly. And after all that studying, you just weren't feeling it?
あんまりないですね。
Hey, this is serious. We can't afford to waste any more time.
大丈夫です。平均点くらいはクリアしてますから。
That's not enough. If you just want to be average, your goals are too low.
志ですか。難しいことを言いますね。っていうか、徹底的に私をバカにしてませんか？
I'd be happy if you got into the top 20.
うわぁ。
What are your plans after this?
進路？
She tilted her head. Don't move. But yeah, your plans. Getting into university will be a stretch for you.
嫌ですね、ゆうくん。私はまだ1年生です。周りにもちゃんと進路考えてるような人はいませんよ。
Okay, but that's still no excuse for doing poorly in school.
今後もスパルタが続く予感がします。
You can count on that.
げー。
I told you not to move. Be quiet. Don't change your expression. Don't even breathe.
最後のは無理ですよ。
We continued to make small talk as I was drawing. However, I just couldn't get in the groove. There were only vague outlines on my sheet. It was my first time doing this, but it was still humiliating.
ゆうくん、休憩にしませんか？
Oh, sorry. She noticed my hand had stopped. Yeah, good idea. I put down my pencil. Yuko exited from her pose. She looks so cute. I like her dress so much.
やっぱり勝手が違いますか？
No, that's not it. I just couldn't figure out what to do with where.
もしかして私のせいだったりします？
Huh?
モデルが悪いから描けないんじゃないですか？
I shook my head and laughed. Nike tells me I suck all the time. I'm not insecure enough to blame it all on the model.
いえ、根性は曲がり気味でしょう。
Why, you... this girl... I can't tell if she's sweet or bitter.
でもね、
She sighed.
本当はね、見てみたかったんですよ。
See what?
あなたの目に私はどう映ってるのかなって。
You care about the strangest things.
だって私は。
She hesitated. Her eyes searched the room. Yuko, what's wrong? Her shoulders shook a little and her breathing became irregular. Yuko?
私。
Oh man, not one of these again. No, not another panic attack. I gritted my teeth. Yuko, I'm right here.
大丈夫。大丈夫ですから。
She was gasping, but she wasn't screaming yet.
いつまでも心配かけられませんからね。
Shut up, just take a slow, deep breath.
はい。
After a few moments, she regained her composure.
もう平気です。
Okay, I think it's best if you went to bed right now.
モデルは？
Forget about that, just lie down.
それよりゆうくん。
She fidgeted.
あの。
Yes? Want me to do something for you? She nodded.
あの。
Then her face became red. Was she muttering something? She suddenly brought her face close and pushed her lips on mine. Oh, she wanted a little kiss. Yuko?
ゆうくん、好きです。
She kissed me again. Maybe we should do this another time.
今だからですよ。
When we first started living together, we had sex virtually every night. Okay. Too much information. Yuko had desired it, although that seemed like an excuse for me.
それに最近は。
However, other things got in the way and the opportunities to do it had decreased.
もしかして私に飽きたとか？
Hey, don't even suggest that. Beatrice approves. If it wasn't work, it was school or something else. Both of us had grown busy.
だったらちゃんと抱いてください。言葉とか態度だけじゃ満たされないものだってあるんですから。
I think they could have translated that better, but
時々
okay.
ぬくもりが欲しくてたまらなくなるんです。
She hung her head. It must have taken her a lot of courage to say that. We hadn't been spending much time with each other lately, so she must have felt lonely, even though she hadn't complained. Yuko? This time, I kissed her, then slowly laid her body down.
ゆうくん、好き。大好きです。
Oh, that's so cute.
窓を開けると冷たい空気が流れ込んできた。私は身震いしてやっぱり窓を閉めようかと一瞬考えてから思いとどまる。後の処理を済ますとゆうくんはすぐに眠ってしまった。毎日バイトと勉強に追われてるのに私にも勉強を教え、なぎさんとデッサンまでやっている。その上今夜はあんなことまでしたのだから眠り込んでしまうのも当然だろう。セックスなんて大嫌いだった。一度だって気持ちいいと思ったことなんてなかった。あの地獄のような日々では。両手で胸を押さえ込む。頭を振って蘇りそうになった光景を必死に打ち消した。いけない。今思い出して声を上げるわけには。ゆうくんを起こすわけにはいかない。大丈夫。私は大丈夫。さーっと外から風が吹き込んでくる。あまりの冷たさに私は急いで窓を閉めた。ゆうくんに抱かれるのは気持ちがいい。何も考えられなくなってその時だけは嫌なことも思い出さずに済む。
Does he really say that in Japanese? I don't know what the words are in Japanese for that, but I feel like the translation is pretty crude there. Like they could have done so much better, but sure.
私はゆうくんのぬくもりを感じることでなんとか自分をつなぎ止められる。何か得体の知れないものに流されそうになる自分を。ゆうくん、小声でつぶやいてから愛しい人の寝顔を覗き込んでそっと唇を重ねた。ありがとう。突然わずかなうずきを感じる。私は慌てて唇を離す。あれだけ激しく交わったのにまだ足りていないのかな。分かっていたことだけど私の体はどうかしている。傷跡のことだけじゃない。焦げつきそうなほどの思いでゆうくんを求めている。痛いくらい壊れるくらいに強く抱いてもらいたい。ゆうくんの欲望を何度でも私の中に注ぎ込んでほしい。自分でも恐ろしくなってしまうような凶暴な感情がいつも渦巻いている。でもそれが本当の私。ゆうくんの前では
I know. I am that emote right
可
now.
愛い女の子でいたいのに、その一方でいつか全てを知ってもらいたいと思う。一度だけこの肌も傷跡も見せた時のようにやけっぱちな気持ちじゃなくて、心の中にある全ての思いを解き放ってゆうくんに伝えたい。そんな日がいつか訪れてくれれば伝えたい。言葉にできないこの心を。
I mean, there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. Like, she's in love with her boyfriend and she's feeling things. After all of that time of being in an atrocious situation and having this be a terrible experience, she's now discovered that it can actually be a great experience. And her body's like, yeah, that's good. I want more of that. And it's not necessarily something bad. So it's alright. I just wish this translation could have been a bit more delicate about it. Just a little bit. Because it feels it kind of, I don't know, takes away the beautiful feeling behind it. It just leaves the carnal part of it, I guess. And so it sounds, I don't know, discordant, I think, with the place where those feelings are coming from. But anyway, we got our exams back. I want more censorship. I don't know, I just want more consideration of what the characters are actually trying to say, and try to use words that are on the same level with the feelings that are trying to be expressed there. But sure, maybe they are saying that in Japanese, I don't know. We got our exams back. The students' rankings were posted out in the hallway. As usual, I was at the top. Yuko and Nagi were ranked just under the median. It was 10 days before the closing ceremony. Normal classes were already over, so coming to school was optional. Most students skipped. Those who didn't showed up for clubs or supplementary lessons. I belonged to neither of those groups. Of course, I was here to study. I could have done it at home, but chose not to. There was also drawing with Nagi in the afternoon, then work. At night, I would study some more. In the end, even though I narrowed down my course, everything was still by the book. Nothing had changed, but Yuko hadn't agreed with that. She's become all emotional again. Now that I thought about it, that was probably our first real fight. I recalled the unpleasant events of the morning. A fight? Wait, Yuko looked displeased when I told her I was going to school.
学校行くんですか?
Yeah, I'll study there. I put on my uniform. There was nothing wrong with studying, right?
わざわざ学校に行く必要はないんじゃないですか?
She said that in a calm but criticizing tone. I have to.
勉強なんて家でできるでしょ?
I'll slack off at home, and the library has all the reference books I need. Also, I can ask the teachers for any help.
試験も終わってやっと一緒にいられるのに。
I can't waste time. There was too much to do. I knew Yuko had longed for winter break. I knew, but...
私を書くのだってまだ途中じゃないですか。
I'll finish it, but there are things to prioritize.
納得できません。
That's life. Silence. Why was she in a bad mood this morning? Was it something I did? I thought about it, but couldn't come up with anything. I'm going then.
お弁当なんて作ってませんよ、私。
I don't need it. I always skipped lunch until recently.
私は余計なことをしてたってことですか?
Nobody said that, damn it. Yuko's expression displayed neither anger nor sadness. I guess my impatience got the better of me. See you. There was nothing better to say. I turned my back to her.
バカ。
I ignored her and left the room. It was best to not reply until I had cooled down. The period bell rang. It seemed to ring normally even when there weren't any classes. What's with her? I muttered in a low voice. Why did Yuko have a problem with this? I didn't know that Yuko was that unwilling to accept things. I thought she would agree with whatever direction I took. We lived under the same roof and we were intimate, yet it was impossible for us to fully understand each other. That was simply how relationships worked.
ゆうくんのバカ。朝のことを思い出してるうちに自然と独り言が出た。慌てて辺りを見回し、誰にも聞かれてなかったことを確認する。はあ、こんな往来で独り言を言うなんて危ない人みたいだ。
こんなところで独り言言ってると危ない人みたいだぞ。は
あ！いきなり背後から聞こえた声に飛び上がりそうになる。
そこまで驚かなくてもいいだろう。
驚きますよ。
ま、驚かそうとしたんだがな。
でしょうね。この人は本当に何をやらかすかわからない。久世先輩が凪さんを苦手としてたのもうなずける気がする。
それでゆこちゃんは買い物か？
ええ、お昼と晩の材料の買い出しに。私はビクビクしながら答える。ナギさんとの会話は時々とんでもない変化球が飛んでくるので油断できないからだ。
まるで新妻みたいだな。
ナギさんは私たちが同居してることを知っている。まあ似たようなものです。
まだ
Oh, sorry. I don't know what I did.
まだ新婚なのに随分深刻な喧嘩をしたみたいだな。
飛んできたのは直球だった。なんでナギさんがそのことを。もしかしてユウくんに会ったんですか？
今日は午後からデッサンに付き合う予定だ。
つまり今日はまだ会ってないということだろう。ならどうして？
顔が曲がってる。
正面からそこまでひどいことを言われたのは生まれて初めてです。
ああ、そっか、言い方が悪かったな。ごめん。そういうことじゃなくて、こう眉間にシワが寄ってるというか、いつもと顔が違う。
そんなにはっきり出てますか？
僕の並外れた観察力を持って初めてわかるくらいだろうな。
多少なりとも感情が顔に出ていたことは確かなようだ。そうか、私も感情を殺さずに自然に表に出せるようになってきたのか。
ゆこちゃん、ユウに何をされたんだ？
いきなりユウくんが悪いことになってますね。
違うのか？
どちらかといえば元凶はユウくんですけど。
合ってるんじゃないか。ま、奴は強気で意地っ張りに見えるが、あれで案外甘いからな。どうせすぐに謝ってくるだろうよ。
ナギさんはユウくんのことよくわかってるんですね。
そんなことはないけど、付き合いだけはそこそこ長いからな。
ナギさんは笑って私の肩をポンポンと叩いた。この人はわけのわからない人だけど本当に優しいと思う。
ま、歩きながらでも詳しいことを聞こうか。
人が聞けば大したことじゃないし面白い話でもないと思いますよ。
どうせ午後までは暇なんだ。どうやって時間を潰そうか考えてたところだからちょうどいい。いや、そうだな。まだ時間はちょっと早いが、昼食にしようか。外で食べても問題ないだろ？
問題はないですけど、手持ちは多少あるけど、それを使うとお買い物が。
年上の人間と一緒にいるときは余計な心配をしなくていいんだよ。
あっさりとナギさんはそう言って私の手を掴んだ。
あまり食べなかったな。
ナギさんは上品な仕草で食後のコーヒーをする。割と小食なんですよ。とは言ったものの、食欲があまりなかったのも事実だった。いきさつを話しながらの食事というのも良くなかったのかも。
そんなに落ち込むことはないよ。さっきも言ったけど、多分すぐに元通りになる。
そうですよね。多分ナギさんの言葉にそれほど根拠はないだろうけど、なんとなく納得してしまう。
ただ、君にも悪いところはあるよ。ゆこちゃんの気持ちを考えてないユウが悪い。だけど、あいつはあいつなりに必死なんだろ。
それは分かってます。ユウくんが間違ったことをしてるとは思わない。というより、彼の理屈は正しい。それでも私は一緒にいたいんですよ。だって初めてだから、誰かと一緒にいて安心できるなんて。
君は僕が嫌いか？
変化球が来た。
僕もゆこちゃんからユウと一緒にいる時間を奪ってる。今日だってこれからあいつと会うわけだし。
そんなわけないじゃないですか。思わず大声を出してしまう。 ナギさんはユウくんを助けてくれてる人です。恨むところを間違えちゃいけないってことを私はよく知ってます。知っているつもりです。生きていれば誰も何も恨まないなんてわけにはいかない。だけど間違えてはいけない。あの人のように。あの人と同じ間違いだけは。
もしも。
ナギさんはコーヒーカップの縁を指でピンと弾いた。
僕がユウに絵の手ほどきをしてる。そこに下心があるとしたら？
その時はあなたを恨むでしょうね。ううん、ただ恨むだけじゃ済まさないかもしれません。私はにっこりと微笑む。ナギさんの気持ちくらい知っているけれど、この人はその気持ちを抑え込んでいる。抑えている限りは私もナギさんを好きでいられる。
君は素直だな。
素直かもしれませんが、私は悪い子ですよ。私に釣られたようにナギさんも笑う。
知ってたよ。君は悪い子だ。悪い子だけどユコちゃんは女の子なんだな。君は恋をしてる女の子だ。
買い物を済ませ、冷たい風が吹く中を歩いて教会にやってきた。ナギさんに会う前はさっさと帰ってふて寝しようと思ってたけれど、悪い子だけど恋をしている女の子、そう言われて気持ちが軽くなった気がする。私はユウくんを困らせると分かっていてもわがままを言ってしまう。それは良くないことだけど、私の正直な気持ちだから。
Kevin. Hi, hi. Oh. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. It's always something original with you, something that you've never said before. Sometimes I wonder if you're not gonna run out of designations for me. How are you, Kevin? I hope things are going all right on your side. Ah.
ユウコ。あら？気づかないうちにミキが現れていた。こんにちは、ミキちゃん。ひょっとして今ので挨拶を返したつもりなんだろうか。また来たの？
Ooh, full of energy. Awesome. I'm happy. I don't think there's too much of it. If you have energy, try to put it to good use. Good, I like the optimism. I, on the other hand, am like yawning every 2 minutes. Today really took the wind out of me. But I'm really happy to see that you are energized and rested and so on. It's good, good, good.
なんか来ちゃいけないみたいですね。暇そうって思っただけ。まあ、暇といえば暇なんですけどね。
No sleep stream, no, no, no. But I will be sleeping quite well, or like for quite a long time tonight. Tomorrow I am planning for a late wake up. Because the way things are timed at work, I'm gonna start later so I can go on for longer into the evening. So no pajama showcase. Do people do that, or is this just like a meme or something? Because I've heard things about sleep streams and I'm like, they don't actually mean that, right? They don't actually just like sleep on stream, right? There's some sort of catch to it, right? Yeah, but yeah, I'm not very educated in that sense.
試験は終わったし、バイトは週2日しかないし、家事にもだいぶ慣れてきた。
Oh, see? Oh, there's the yawn again. Sorry.
誰が見たって忙しいと言える状態じゃない。ミキちゃんはどうなの？ユウコには関係ない。施設の子たちと一緒に遊ばないの？ ミキは何も答えず、私を睨む。そんな怖い顔しちゃダメですよ。せっかく可愛い顔してるのに。
うるさい。
あら、困った子ですね。この子も悪い子だ。こうも強気で意地っ張りだと、なかなか他の子にも受け入れてもらえないのかも。
あいつら嫌い。だってうるさいんだもの。
一緒に遊んでみたら楽しいかもしれませんよ。
楽しくなかったら優子が責任取ってくれるの？
責任って、そんな言葉をどこで。もうどうしたらいいのかわからない。ゆうくんの言った通り、あまり関わらない方がいいんだろうか。今まで子供と接したことなんてないし。まあ、気が向いたら遊んでみるといいですよ。私は中に用があるので。ミキがうなずくのを確かめてから、私は教会の扉に向かった。で、振り向くと、当たり前みたいな顔してミキがつい
She's
て
like a
きて。
stray kitten, just following you around.
ミキちゃん、私に何か用があるんですか？できる限り優しく、猫なで声で言ってみる。というか、どうして私はこの子に優しくしようとしてるんだろ
優子が泥棒しないか見張ってるの。
う。なんでもいいですけど、せめてお姉ちゃんとか呼んでもらえないでしょうか。
いや、
この子、もしかして本気で私を嫌ってるんだろうか。なんか、頭に血が上ってきた。私は無言でミキから視線を外す。こんな小さい子相手に本気で怒りたくない。
優子。
ちょっとだけ、静かにしててね。私は祭壇を見つめ、深く息を吸い込む。神様に祈るわけじゃない。私はずっと、神様に、運命に見放されてると信じてきたから。だけど、ここの静謐な空気は、不思議なくらい心を鎮めてくれる。この傷だらけで汚れた体を清めてくれるような気さえする。もちろん、そんなのは都合のいい思い込みでしかなくて。あら？突然、視界がぼやけた。私は慌てて目をこすろうとして、膝から力が抜けてしまう。立っていられない。ちょっと、誰に言ってるんだろう。倒れそうになったことは何度もあるけど、これは今までとは違う。フラッシュバックでもない。心臓の鼓動が速い。顔が熱くて、猛烈な吐き気がこみ上げてくる。何これ、風邪だろうか。熱っぽいし、頭痛と吐き気。もう冬だというのに、夜風に当たったりしてたし、休みになって気が抜けたのかもしれない。
死んじゃうの？優子、死んじゃうの？
吸い込まれそうなほどに大きな瞳がじっと私を見ている。そこに宿ってる感情は何なのか。濁ってしまっている目では見通せない。お姉ちゃんって言ったでしょ。力を振り絞って笑い、精一杯の明るい声を出す。死にませんよ。こんな若い美空で死んじゃたまりません。
本当に？
ええ。うなずいてミキの頭に手を伸ばす。小さな悲鳴を発するとミキは私の手をかわした。あ、そうでした。触っちゃいけないんでしたね。なぜかミキは申し訳なさそうな顔をする。ごめんなさい。それに、私は大丈夫です。お姉ちゃん、ちょっとふらついただけですから。膝に力を入れて立ち上がる。大丈夫です。
バカみたい。
え？
笑ってるのに泣いてる。
そう言うとミキは駆け出して教会から出て行ってしまう。止める暇もそんな余裕もなかった。子供の前でかっこ悪いところを見せちゃいました。私も帰ろう。私の家に帰ってゆっくり眠ろう。
That's alright, I wasn't saying much, I was just following the novel. Hope you enjoy your food, hope it's something delish. Oh, thank you so much. Enjoy your food. Make sure it's something nutritious and good for you. Take care of yourself, and thank you so much for dropping by. As always, it's nice to have you. Even for a short while. Wait, sorry, I didn't read that. So,
私の家に帰ってゆっくり眠ろう。
right. I was returning home after work. Before I turned the knob to my apartment, I stopped. Nike criticized my designs as usual, then I went to work. I had forgotten about what happened this morning. Was Yuko home? I braced myself and opened the door.
おかえりなさい、ゆうくん。寒かったでしょ？すぐにご飯にしますから座っていてください。
Yuko was acting normally as if nothing had happened.
どうしました？あ、もしかしておかえりのキスとか期待してます？
Don't be silly. I put down my bag.
ちょっと残念。いつでも要求してくれて構いませんからね。それではご飯の支度を。
You don't have to do anything. Get some rest.
寝る？まだ10時ですよ。
I mean it. Get some rest.
寝るってもしかして違う意味ですか？嫌ですね。そんなにがっつかなくてもご飯を食べてから。
You have a cold, don't you? Her mouth snapped shut. I must have guessed correctly.
あら、鋭いですね。
I can tell from how you look. You're also acting more strange than usual. I think by now I'm able to see right through any act you put on.
そんなことのスペシャリストになられても困りますね。
She manifested a frail smile. Well, just get some rest. Have you eaten yet?
はあ、実のところはあまり食欲が。
I'll make some I don't know how to read that. Sorry, let's skip. Just lie down for now.
あ、私の仕事を取ろうとしてますね。
I ignored her and went to the kitchen.
ゆうくん、
Yeah?
怒ってます？
No, I'm not. I'm doing what's best for you.
今朝のことですよ。
Yes, it was impossible to avoid it. I decided to play dumb. Why would I be angry?
なぎさんから何か聞いてないんですか？
Nagi? What's she got to do with anything?
いえ、何でもありません。
Look, maybe I didn't act appropriately this morning. I turned around and bowed my head. I should have paid attention to you. Sorry.
あなたは、
She shook her head.
あなたはどんどん優しくなっていきますね。私はわがままになるばかりなのに。
Oh, man. That couldn't be further from the truth. I can't read your minds, so speak up whenever you have a problem. This morning was my fault. I'll stop going to school, okay? Is that good enough?
はい。
She nodded. In the end, it was a trivial fight. I was too stubborn to listen to her, and all it did was drain both of us. If she was sick, all the more reason to resolve the
ゆ
issue.
うくん、
Yeah?
あなたはいつでも私を許してくれるんですね。
It's not about forgiving or not forgiving. You did nothing wrong. Stop worrying. Shard of Courage. Aw, that's cute. Morning in the art room. There was no noise except the sound of charcoal scraping paper. Nagi and I weren't communicating with each other. We were focused on the task at hand. Nagi stopped what she was doing. We kept forgetting about the time, so Nagi set up an alarm clock.
ここまでだな。
Yeah. All my strength escaped me the moment I stopped moving my hand.
さてと、我が弟子の出来栄えは
That sounded a bit strange. Well,
じゃあはっきり言おう。今日も全然ダメだな。
figures. I wasn't asking for any encouragement, but it was frustrating how she had nothing good to
いき
say.
なり構図がずれてるし、形も全然取れてない。質感の表現もまるっきりダメだ。そもそも手が遅すぎる。3時間かけてこれくらいしか描けないようじゃ話にならないな。
So there's not even one good thing about it? I glanced at Nagi's easel. We started at the same time, but what she drew was astonishing. The gap between our skill levels was wider than a canyon.
仮にもデザインをやろうって言うなら、立体を把握できてなくちゃ話にならないからな。
I know. She sighed.
まあ、ある日突然伸びることもあるからな。そんなに焦ることもない。
I didn't expect you to say that. Easing up?
あまり絶望的になられてもやりにくいからだ。だけどユウのことだから少々叩かれたってへこまないか。
Hey, I've got feelings too. Nagi was ruthless. I always praised her abilities, so I couldn't just talk back to
それ
her.
じゃあユウをへこませるのはこれくらいにして行こうか。
Yeah. My watch showed 11:30 a.m. Yuko told me to come home for lunch, so I needed to leave school
ユ
now.
コちゃんまだ良くならないのか。
Oh, it's dragging on a little. She's been in bed the past 2 days.
医者には見せたのか。
Oh, she didn't want to go.
そこは甘やかすところじゃないぞ。そういう時は首に縄をつけてでも引っ張っていくもんだ。
She paused for a second.
も
What about it?
うユウたちは縄とか使ってるのか。
Please don't tell me you just said that.
ああ、すまなかった。つい乙女の好奇心というやつがうずいて。
Sure it did. How stupid. I couldn't spend the day without having some sort of pointless conversation.
おかえりなさい。
Yuko happily greeted me. Thanks. So I see you're feeling well enough to be up.
2日も寝っぱなしでしたからね。良くなってくれないと困ります。
Just because you feel a bit better doesn't mean you should be careless.
平気ですよ。これからナギさんとお買い物に行くんですよね。
I told her I'd check up on you first.
心配性ですね。いいから行ってきてください。ナギさんにはお世話になってるんですし、できる時に恩返しをしておかないと。
There was no doubt that Yuko was looking better. However, maybe following Nagi's advice was a good idea. You're still sick. That's more important.
愛しい私と離れたくないのはわかりますけど、そんなに心配しなくても。
Hey, who kept whining about wanting to be together?
まあ、
Uh-oh.
蒸し返さないでくださいよ。ちょっとあの時はどうかしてただけです。
She smiled.
それに、あまり近くにいると風邪がうつるかもしれません。ですから、いいんですよ。
Fine, but we're having lunch.
あら、
You won't eat if I don't tell you to. I'm going to make sure you do, even if it means forcing the food down your throat.
やだ、無理やり口になんて、ゆうくんたら、いやらしすぎますよ。
That's not funny.
ちゃんと寝ろ、としつこく言い残して、ゆうくんは再び出かけていった。なぎさんとお出かけというのは正直、ちょっと思うところがあるけれど、私はゆうくんを信じることにする。疑ったりしたら、罰が当たりますよね。ゆうくんは食事の支度だけでなく、後片付けまでしてくれた。嬉しいような、仕事を取られて悔しいような、複雑な気持ち。まあ、今はまだゆうくんの方が料理は上手だし、何をやっても手際の良さではかなわないけど。不意に何かが来た。ミキの前で膝をついた時よりもさらに強烈なめまい。くるりと視界が一回転する。何これ。まずい。この前とは比べ物にならない。 全身から血の気が引いたような寒気が襲いかかってくる。視覚も聴覚もすべての感覚が急速に遮断されていく。これは本当にまずい。ゆうくんを引き止めなかったことを後悔しながら意識が薄れていった。
I arrived in front of the station just before the meetup time. On my way here, I couldn't stop thinking about Yuko. Nobody should be left alone in the middle of recovering. I would finish shopping as quickly as possible, then go home before work started. With that decided, I began to look for Nagi. Where is she? She was someone you could easily pick out of a crowd.
You.
Oh, she looks cool. I love her pendant. What? That's so cute. A girl appeared in front of me. I raised my eyebrow. Who are you?
僕だ。
Oh, so it is.
そうだ。
I didn't notice you at first. You're usually in your school uniform.
僕だって私服の1着や2着持ってる。何か文句でもあるのか？
Nope, none whatsoever. However, this was the first time I saw her like this in a year and a half of knowing her. So, why?
可愛いか？
You're Nagi, alright. That answer was something that could only come out of her.
冗談に決まってるだろう。ユウに可愛いなんて言われてもリアクションに困る。いくら事実とはいえ。
Are we getting those art supplies or not? I turned around. My instincts told me to drop the conversation. I wouldn't think about the meaning behind that. You bought way too much.
最近はユウもめったに付き合ってくれなくなったからな。こういうチャンスは無駄にできない。
Look at her pendant, it's so cute. It's like a little angel or something? Or a bird? It's cute! Nagi purchased paints, paper, and a bunch of other things of purposes unknown to me. What she said was right. After I accepted Yuko into my life, I didn't hang out with Nagi much other than in the art room. We used to do this 2 or 3 times a month.
君も付き合いのいい男だったな。いや、暇と言うべきか。
Oh, come on, you forced me to come with you.
毎回付き合ってくれたのは無理やりというのが好みだからか？
The girls of Ottawa Collegiate seemed to love finding holes in my defense.
ところで、ユウは油絵をやってみるつもりはないか？
What for?
色彩センスを磨くのも重要なことだしな。油絵じゃなくて水彩画でもいいし。水彩なら美術の授業でやったことあるだろ？
Well, yeah, but I've been so busy with design. Then I remembered the half-drawn picture of Yuko. Maybe it was a good idea to add a little color to it.
何か思いついた顔だな。
It's nothing big, so tell me more about watercoloring. I might give it a shot.
道具なら僕の貸そう。もうほとんど水彩は使わなくなったからな。
Oil painting was a tall hurdle, but maybe I could manage this. I wouldn't become too proficient at it, but Yuko would be happy with anything.
かけたら僕にも見せてくれ。
No way.
その迷いのない口調は嫌いじゃない。
Nagi smiled and walked ahead. She always knew when to drop the subject if it got too personal.
オトワは絵を学ぶにはいい環境だと思う。
What do you mean?
この町には絵になる場所がいくらでもあるからな。この町そのものが絵になると言ってもいい。
I'm sure people would be real thrilled to look at a picture of ruins.
オトワの復興計画はいろいろと複雑らしいからな。まだ手が回ってないところもあるんだろ。
So the project won't finish anytime soon, huh?
だろうな。ユウが都市デザインをやるつもりなら、オトワの復興計画に関われるかもしれないぞ。
At this rate, impossible. It would be great if that happened. However, I couldn't imagine everything falling into place like that.
いや、ありえないことじゃない。僕が絵描きになろうと決めた頃、父親の技術は神がかって見えた。正直一生追いつけないと思ったものだ。
She shook her head.
ところが、今じゃ父の影に触れられそうな距離まで近づいてる。 無理だと思ったことでもジタバタもがいてるうちに意外となんとかなったりするものだ。
Her eyes
ユウだっ
shone.
て分かってるだろ。
Yeah, my family. I couldn't ever forget about them, but I was able to move on. As long as there was a goal in mind and people kept at it, what seemed impossible may become possible.
足元がふらついてきたので、私は一休みするために公園に入った。寒い。北から吹いてくる風が容赦なく体温を奪っていく。一刻も早く家に戻るべきだけど、途中で倒れたくない。少し休むのが正解だろう。ベンチに座ったまま動けなくなる。無理を押して出かけて帰れなくなるなんて、我ながらなんて情けない。あら？とことこと私の前に現れたのはミキだった。ミキちゃん、こんにちは。
こんにちは。
あらら？
何？
いいえ、なんでも。
She finally said a proper greeting back. Hehe.
私は笑顔を作る。ささやくような声だったけど、ミキがちゃんと挨拶を返してくれるとは思わなかった。少しは心を開いてくれるようになったのだろうか。変なところで会いますね。今日は遊びに来たんですか？
教会の前で。
教会の前？
教会の前をうろうろしちゃダメだって先生が。車も通るから危ないって。遊ぶなら公園で遊びなさいって。
それはそうですね。どうしてミキちゃんは教会の前なんかに？
そんなの私の勝手だよ。
もしかして私を待っててくれたんですか？
違
The blush.
う。
本気で否定してるのか照れ隠しなのか、どっちでもよかった。いつもそっけなかったミキが感情をむき出しにしているのが嬉しい。
優子は何してるの？
ちょっとお出かけしてたんですよ。でもちょっと疲れちゃったので一休みです。
おばちゃんみたい。
なんですって？氷の微笑を向けてやるとミキは敏感に反応した。閉めるときは閉めるのが教育というもの。
優子、笑ってるのに怖い。
感情は必ずしも顔に出るものではないんです。覚えておきましょうね。
よくわかんない。
そのうちわかる日が来ますよ。私はそう言って立ち上がる。
帰るの？
ごめんね。ミキちゃんと遊んであげたいけど、今日はちょっと、それほど気分も悪くない。今なら家までたどり着けるだろ
別に遊んでほしくなんかない。
私はミキちゃんと遊びたいですよ。ミキに微笑みかけてその場を去ろうとして、やっぱりダメだった。膝に力が入らない。どうやら思った以上に体力を消耗しているようだ。ちょっと休んだくらいじゃダメか。
優子、
大丈夫です。死んだりしませんよ。
死んじゃうよ。
大丈夫。大丈夫。
無理だよ。
優しい子ですね。おいで。私はミキの小さな体を抱き寄せる。やだ！暴れるミキを私は残された力でしっかりと抱きしめる。やだ！何が嫌なの？この子は何か理由があって家族と引き離されている。ぬくもりに触れて、それをなくしてしまうのが怖いの。大事な人は、ぬくもりをくれた人はいなくなってしまう。 だったら最初から何もいらない。ミキはそんな風に考えてしまっているのではないだろうか。
話して、優子。
怖がらないで。泣かないで。泣かないでいいのよ。はい。
パパもママもいなくなった。ずっと一緒だって言ったのに、いなくなっちゃった。もうどこにももう会えないの。一人は嫌。一人ぼっちにしないで、パパ。ママ、どうして私置いていったの。
辛かったね。さらにぎゅっと力を込める。こんな小さな体にも張り裂けそうなほどの悲しみが詰まっている。あの震災の後のゆうくんや私のように。ミキ、あなたは一人じゃありません。一人になんかなりません。悲しみからは逃げられないから、立ち向かい乗り越えなくちゃいけない。私だけじゃない。心を開けば答えてくれる人はきっといますから。
優子はいなくならない。
いなくなったりしませんよ。だって私はミキの頭を撫でて笑いかける。私には守らなきゃいけないものがありますから。
The final promise.
デートしませんか？
Yuko asked me when I woke up 2 days before our school closed for the winter break.
勉強もバイトも放り出して、私のためだけに時間をください。
I wasn't supposed to be a soft person. Our situation wasn't stable enough for us to be wasting our time. However, I couldn't refuse after seeing the look on her face. She smiled after I nodded. At that point, I may have already had an idea of what was about to happen. It was another chilly day. The wind was numbing my cheeks. It was cold enough to make me worry about Yuko, who was walking beside me. Was it really a good idea to take her out so soon after recovering?
このところこもりがちでしたから、風が気持ちいいですね。
Seeing Yuko happy like this made it difficult to recommend going back home.
ゆうくん、浮かない顔ですね。ナギさんとお勉強してる方が良かったですか？
She asked with a nasty smile. No, no. She treats me like dirt all the time. This is actually a chance for me to relax.
じゃあ、バイトを休んだのが後ろめたいとか。
Infinitian, thank you so much for the hydration. I shall do it. The manager said if you don't stretch your wings once in a while, you won't know what it's like to fly.
マスターさんはよっぽどゆうくんを休ませたかったみたいですね。
Yeah, he kept nagging me about how I should have fun while I'm still young.
マスターさんってもしかして何か事情があって若い頃は遊ぶ暇もなかったのかもしれませんね。
Oh, maybe you're right. The manager wasn't born an old man. He was once a youth as well. Perhaps he was looking out for me.
私なら何の問題もないですよ。
Yuko suddenly changed the subject.
ほら、ちゃんと歩いてるじゃないですか。ちょっと足は萎えてますけどね。疲れて歩けなくなったらゆうくんがおぶってくれますし。
Hey, wait. I didn't agree to that? She had returned to her usual walking speed. Maybe I was just worrying too much after all. So where to? Went to see a movie? Spending a little money was okay for today. Oh man, the hiccups. What? Where are these coming from? Ugh. Yuko hadn't spent any lately, and besides, it was a date.
映画なんて見たくないですよ。せっかくのデートなんですから、スクリーンじゃなくて、あなたの顔を見ていたいです。
What? Yuko smiled at my speechlessness.
ゆうくん、赤くなってますよ。
Hey. What book did you get that messed up quote from?
オリジナルに決まってるじゃないですか。自慢じゃないですけど、私は本とか読みませんし。
Right.
一緒にいられれば、それでいいんですよ。もう、風邪をうつす心配もありませんしね。
She wrapped herself around my arm. A soft sensation hit my elbow. Hey, aren't you a little too close?
照れないでくださいよ。誰に見られたって構わないでしょ。
Nothing's stopping you today. That's what I said, but I wasn't feeling bad at all. We lived together, but the distance between us had been increasing lately. That distance was now gone. It was zero. Seeing Yuko happily by my side made me believe that.
あら？
What's wrong?
ほら、耳を澄ませてみてください。
Hey, hey. I noticed it. It was a television from some store, or maybe a speaker was set up somewhere. I can't remember what it's called, but it's definitely a holiday song.
ええ。クリスマスソングってどれもメロディーが綺麗ですよね。久世先輩に弾いてもらいたいな。
I could try calling him.
そんな無茶な。
I have the feeling you won't need to. Kidding, kidding. It was best to leave him be at this point. If he had returned, he wouldn't leave us alone for a second. Guess it's that time of year again.
クリスマスそのものを忘れてたんですか？いくらなんでも浮世離れしすぎじゃありません？
I just wasn't paying attention, that's all. That certain Christmas would be etched in my mind forever.
そうですよね。クリスマスだからって浮かれる気にはなりませんよね。
Yuko seemed gloomy. Not good. I had to prioritize Yuko over everything else. Nothing else mattered. Let us be a royal couple on Christmas.
え？
We'll have a nice dinner at some fancy restaurant just for that night.
いいんですか？
Sure, but it's back to poverty after that. Fair enough.
そんなの。
I empathize with that feeling. We ate lunch downtown, stopped by the park, then came to the church.
あら、ここにもいませんね。
She was talking about that child she met the other day. She's just a kid. Wouldn't she be playing around somewhere?
そういう子じゃないんですよ。公園にもいなかったし、施設の方かな。
I'll tell you right now, I'm not going in there.
それは私だって。
Suddenly the doors of the church opened and a small figure appeared.
いたんですね、ミキ。
The girl, apparently named Miki, blushed after Yuko called out to her.
ゆうこ。
あら、どうしました？
なんでもない。
Bye. Miki slipped past us, crossed the street without looking either way, and disappeared. She hates you, doesn't she?
そうでもないはずなんですが。多分、照れてるんでしょうね。この間泣いちゃったから、私と顔を合わせるのが恥ずかしいんだと思います。かわいいですね。
Wait, you made a kid
子
cry?
供は泣くものですよ。
She didn't deny it. Maybe that girl was that uncomfortable around us after all.
でも、せっかくゆうくんを紹介しようと思ったのに。
Oh, I'm bad with kids. She'll say something that'll bother me.
女の子も苦手ですよね。
Yuko giggled and tugged at my sleeve. It seemed that everything was back to normal. There were no signs that she had been sick.
ゆうくん、私、行きたい場所があります。
Sure. Anywhere was fine by me. Yuko would have her every request granted today. Those feelings which warmed my heart made me feel as though I was being reborn. An Arctic gale greeted us as I opened the door.
寒い。
Still want to be up here? I grimaced. No sane person would come up to the roof at a time like this.
限界時間まであまり間がなさそうですね。
You're right about that.
来たかったんですよ。私たちが再会した場所に。
She was beaming. Her smile was so innocent that it was almost haunting. Coming to the roof at this moment required a bit of know-how on my part. However, just seeing that smile on Yuko's face made it all worth it.
ここからの風景好きなんですけどね。こう寒いとのんびり眺めてられませんね。
Just wait until it gets warm. You've got next year and the year after that.
そうですね。
She nodded and breathed into her hands.
本当に寒いな。多分クリスマスも寒くなりそう。
Yeah.
ゆうくんはクリスマスが嫌いなんですよね。
I don't really have a grudge against it. It's just... Well, that Christmas was cold too, and I almost froze.
そうでしたね。あの日は本当に寒かった。
She exhaled. Her breath rode the wind before it disappeared.
私ずっと前に何かで見たことがあるんです。
What's that?
サンタクロースが海でサーフィンしてる写真です。なんかおかしくて今でも覚えてるんですよ。
I think I've seen that somewhere. I had the feeling it was an English textbook. Yuko moved close to me and took my hand.
夏に迎えるクリスマスもいいですね。
Christmas during the summer? I guess that wouldn't be so bad. She nodded and directed her eyes towards the view.
ゆうくん、
Yes?
私あの子にクリスマスプレゼントをあげたいんです。
That peep squeak from before, huh? Yuko was eagerly awaiting my answer. However, I didn't have any right to oppose. Sure, but I don't know anything that would make a kid like her
そ
happy.
れは私が見繕いますよ。でも一緒にあの子に渡しましょうね。
Well, I looked up at the sky. An extravagant dinner with Yuko on Christmas. Then a bit of time with that snotty little rascal. Alright, I'll make sure to be off work before Christmas evening.
はい。
We'll meet up at the church. Then we can give the kid the present. Anything after that?
あかねさんやご両親のお墓参りもしましょう。あそこの墓地に眠ってるんですよね。
Yeah. It'll be their anniversary.
私もお母さんのお墓参りをします。ずっと言ってませんでしたから、そろそろ顔を見せてあげないと。
Sure. After everything's finished, we'll spend the rest of the night together. Just you and me.
はい。
She nodded with a brilliant smile. And then, without any warning, she slowly tumbled to the floor. Yuko? I hurried over to her. Yuko? Her face was incredibly pale.
ゆうくん、声が大きいですよ。
I know, if we can get into the school's infirmary.
ちょっと疲れただけですから。保健室もお医者さんもいりません。少し休めば平気。
This isn't the time to be screwing around.
病気じゃないんです。病気じゃないから心配しないで。ちょっとだけ休ませて。
Yuko? This wasn't something minor. Something was happening with Yuko's body. She hadn't recovered at all. She was getting worse. Damn it, I knew I shouldn't have taken her out. Yuko? Yuko? As I continued to yell, I was furious at myself for being so foolish. So we could unite. Rain struck the windows. It started to fall last night, and it was still going. Yuko was expressionless. She was looking at the air.
雨やみませんね。なんだかいつまでも降り続きそう。
Don't worry, it will clear up.
そうですね。年に一度のクリスマスくらい晴れてほしいですよね。あ、雪に変わってくれたらロマンチックでいいかも。
We'll just have to wait and see, won't we? I was moving a brush. It had been a while since I did a watercolor. However, I wasn't feeling anxious at all. In fact, it was coming along a bit too well. Maybe it was because I wasn't trying for perfection. Or maybe it's because seeing Yuko in that calm pose was incredibly soothing.
リアリストですよね、ゆうくんは。
Considering our situation, I don't have much of a choice.
いいですよ。そういうところも含めて、ゆうくんですから。
Are you making fun of me again?
嫌ですね。私は常々日村先輩を尊敬しておりますよ。
Sounds fishy.
本当ですよ。
She smiled. It was the first time she smiled since the incident on the roof. I looked at my painting and started on the eyes. Yuko,
はい、
are you pregnant?
はい。
She nodded slowly. I knew it. There weren't many other reasons why she would act like this. Yuko being pregnant was the only conclusion I could surmise. I'm sorry, I should have realized it sooner. I put down my brush. It was so obvious. How could I have been such a fool? She wouldn't have had to go through this if I was just a little more reliable. I'm really sorry.
自分でもちょっと調子が悪いだけだと思ってたくらいです。仕方ないですよ。
Her reassurance was calming. However, this wasn't the time to be calm. How do you feel?
今のところは少しだるいくらい。なんか波があるみたいですからね。
Maybe it's better for you to stay home for the holidays.
本気で大丈夫だと思ったんですよ。激しい運動はするなって言われましたけど、ただデートするだけですからね。まあ、私が人並み外れて体が弱いのが誤算でした。
She wasn't hesitating. Of course, I wasn't going to criticize her for her actions. I wasn't qualified to criticize her. You went to a doctor, right?
ゆうくんが学校に行ってる間にこっそりと。覚悟決めていったのに、やっぱり恥ずかしいですね。ああいうところは。
She stroked her abdomen. A new life was dwelling in there.
2ヶ月だそうです。
So, next summer, huh?
産むとしたらの話ですね。
She said that much too casually. Wait, don't tell me you...
いえ、ちゃんとここにいます。すぐにどうにかできるものじゃないんですよ。
I sighed with relief. She didn't do anything rash.
ゆうくん、どうして安心してるんです？
Why? Well, isn't it obvious? She stared at me. Her eyes looked as though they were viewing some mysterious specimen. Why was she looking at me like that?
私、産みませんよ。
Did I hear that correctly? She said that without hesitation. Are you serious?
やだな、常識的に考えてそうでしょ。私たちはまだ学生です。二人で暮らしてるって言っても、自分たちの力だけで生きてるわけじゃありません。赤ちゃん抱えてやっていけると思いますか？だいたい、ゆうくんの反応はおかしいですよ。もしかして、産めって言うつもりだったんですか？
I couldn't reply immediately. Thoughts were swimming in my head. A baby. Our baby. We never thought about contraception whenever we had sex. Why? That is not something that you think about after. There's a sequencing to... Okay. It was inevitable that this would eventually happen. I was pretty much asking for it, and now she was the one who had to suffer.
ダメですよ。あなたのいけない癖が出てます。
Huh?
何でも自分のせいにしてしまう。そうじゃないでしょ。あなたが無理やりしたわけじゃない。私だって納得していたことなんです。
But it's my responsibility.
私を無視しないで。あなたのぬくもりを求めた気持ちをなかったことにしないでください。ゆうくんが何もかも背負い込まなくていいんです。もしも赤ちゃんができたことを誰かが責めるのなら、私も一緒に責められるべきなんです。ただ、考えなきゃいけないのはそんなことじゃなくて、現実的な解決方法ですよね。
She furthered the conversation. Her verbosity indicated that she had already thought about our next plan.
お金なら少しはあります。堕胎は保険効かないから高いですけど、安いところを探せば手続きだってなんとかなるでしょう。
Wait,
はい。
are you out of your mind? I grabbed her shoulders. I couldn't act calm. Something must have snapped. Don't you get it? This is our baby.
私が一番よく知ってますよ。
Then why? Why are you suggesting that we kill it?
生きていくためです。
No one ever uses contraceptions in Vienna. Yeah, it's like a myth or something. Still, you're suggesting that we kill it. Do you understand what that means?
分かってないのはあなたよ。デザイナーになるんでしょ。街を作りたいんでしょ。勉強しなくちゃいけないことはいくらでもあるでしょ。
This isn't about that.
あなたのことだけじゃない。私の気持ちだって考えてよ。
Yuko's feelings. I wanted her to feel the same way I did. Was that selfish? Or was that the wrong idea?
ゆうくん、何も分かってない。私は母親なんかになりたくありません。私には無理ですから。だって私ダメ。
Tears were visible in her eyes.
なんで今子供なんてできるの。兄さんの子供なら遠慮なく下ろせたのに。
Yuko, stop it.
あれだけ何度も犯されてもできなかったのに。なんでよ。
Yuko, don't even think about that.
私はずっと背負っていくんですよ。私が苦しかったのは過去の記憶なんかじゃない。あなたはどんどん前に進んでいく。いつも眩しいくらいに輝いていて、誰にだってわかります。あなたには未来がある。明るい未来がずっと先まで続いている。邪魔なんてできない。何にもできない私がこんなところでユウくんをつまずかせられない。私には子供なんかよりユウくんの方が大事。ユウくんの未来を私は守りたいんです。
No, you're wrong. I was slow to come up with something. All I could do was deny. You're wrong. I desperately wanted to deny what Yuko said. I used to only look out for myself. My goal was to prove that an orphan like me could be as successful as all those people who still had their families. But that doesn't matter anymore. I don't want success if it ends up hurting you.
ユウくん、
I just don't want you to be hurt again. If you give birth, there's still hope. But if you kill it, then it's all over.
いつかあなたは私を恨むわ。この女と子供さえいなければもっと違った人生があったって。きっと私を疎ましく思う日が来る。そんなの耐えられない。
No, there's no way that'll happen. I hugged her. She gave no resistance. I'll dedicate myself to only you and the baby. But that doesn't mean I'm giving up my future. I'll take care of you and the baby, but I'll fulfill my dream too. It might take a little longer, but as long as I have something to live for, I'll manage. Just give it a chance, please.
無理よ。
She vehemently shook her head.
あなたは怖がってるんです。子供を殺してしまうのが怖くてまともに考えることができなくなってるんですよ。冷静になってください。
How can I be calm? I can't believe we're discussing this.
わからずや。
Then I saw something I thought I would never see again in my life. No, that's... What Yuko held was something very
さ
familiar.
っさと捨ててしまおうと思って。でもなぜか捨てられずにいたんです。捨てなくて正解でしたね。
Hey, what are you doing with
手
that?
術なんてまだるっこしい。 ここで始末をつけてしまいましょう。
No. With that knife, she couldn't be suggesting that. Wait, don't do anything
うまく
stupid.
いけば邪魔者が2人いっぺんにいなくなりますよ。
Oh man. I never called you a hindrance.
邪魔になってるのは事実よ。望まれずに生まれてくる子供なんてかわいそうです。
She turned the knife towards herself. Yuko. I tackled her without thinking. My body slammed against the drawer. It felt like an explosion had occurred.
ゆうくん、
Are you alright?
手から血が、それにすごい音が。
Don't worry. I'm not hurt anywhere.
嘘よ。早く手を離して。
I was tightly holding the blade of the knife with my left hand. Blood was dripping onto the floor. You let go first. Yuko released her hands from the knife. However, in doing so, she moved it a bit, and I felt a sharp pain. Ah. She quickly pulled out a handkerchief and wrapped it over the wound. I'm fine. It only broke the skin a little.
嘘。だってそんなに血が出てるのに。
Of course there's blood coming out. I'm alive. I forced a grin and patted my wound. Unpleasant sweat was running down my back. Yuko, look. I paused for a moment. We've lost a lot. Both of us. I don't want it to keep happening. After having so much taken away, we were finally able to create something precious. Isn't that amazing?
大切なもの。私は何にもできないのに。いつまでも痛みに怯えることしかできないのに。
You'll be a stronger person. You'll be a mother. Back then, the great disaster took away everything in a single night. However, that was a long time ago. Now I had a place to live and a person dear to me. I had a future. Everyone who died, they all wanted to live. None of them wanted to die. Even our baby. It wants to live too. I'm sure of it. She was about to break down.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。私。
Let's keep living for all of them. Yuko fell into my arms and began to cry. I wanted to protect her and the life that was in her body. This was how it was meant to be. The cycle of pain and sadness would end. Yuko, you're warm.
ゆうくんもあったかい。
Before I knew it, the rain had stopped. The clouds would soon disappear and the sun would shine again. I wanted to convey this warmth to our baby. The first time someone experiences warmth and affection is also the first time that person is no longer alone. That was what I wanted to teach our baby, the joy of not being alone. A kind world. Aww. It was the final day before winter break. Classes would end early. Yuka and I were walking towards school. Stop shivering, are you that cold?
ちょっと。
I told you to wear something thicker. Maybe there's a place that sells those disposable heat packs.
無駄遣いはできませんよ。平気。学校に着くまでの我慢です。ゆうくんこそ手は大丈夫ですか？
It's fine.
本当ですか？痩せ我慢とかしちゃダメですよ。
Well, I'm only feeling a little pain. I'll go to the doctor later today.
絶対ですよ。それこそもったいないなんて言わないでくださいね。
I know. I smiled at her, but she didn't look quite so
ごめん
satisfied.
なさい。
Don't worry about it. I threw the knife into a river earlier today. While it felt like disposing of a murder weapon, there was no other alternative. I was hesitant to put it in the trash. I hoped that it would never be found. We'll have to go shopping. You need thicker clothes, and as for me, do you think they'd have any parenting books?
山ほど売ってますけど、もったいないから図書館で借りてきて勉強します。もう学校の勉強はしなくていいし、暇になりますからね。
Yuko had already decided that she would drop out. First, she needed to talk to her uncle. Then she had to inform the school. Wouldn't it be better to just take a leave of absence? I'm sure you're allowed 2 years of maternity leave.
2年後なんてまだまだ赤ちゃんじゃないですか。この子に寂しい思いはさせたくありません。だからいいんですよ。私はゆうくんと違って勉強なんて大嫌いですし、元から進学するつもりもなかったですから、別にって、これ言うの何度目ですか？
She tried to be lighthearted about it. However, it wasn't something I could easily agree with. If she stopped school, her life from here on would drastically change.
ついでですから、もう一遍言っておきましょう。ゆうくんはやめちゃダメです。ちゃんと音羽を卒業して進学するんですよ。
Yeah, I know. How many times had she said that? I felt guilty to be the only one going to school, but she was the one who insisted. The next few years are going to be rough.
一つずつ片付けていきましょう。しばらくは今までと変わらない生活ができますから、その間に考えればいいですよ。
Are you being optimistic or just defiant?
どちらも違いますね。母は強しですよ。
I see. She understood our situation and was prepared to face the challenge. I had to be strong as well, but I wasn't quite there yet. Besides, there was something crucial I had not yet said to her. It wasn't entirely necessary, but it was something I had to say.
ゆうくん？
Yeah?
ゆうくんが心配してるのはお金のことですよね。
Yeah. Realistically, that's the biggest hurdle. It's quite pathetic.
あら？他にも何か？
Not really, that's the main priority. She was going to quit work as well. Our income would drop considerably.
そのことなんですけど、どうにかなるかもしれません。
Wait a minute, you're not thinking about asking your uncle for assistance, are you?
違いますよ。でも、まだ確実な話じゃないので、やっぱり話すのは後にします。
It's not something dangerous, is it?
人を裏社会の人間みたいに。違
Alright,
いますよ。変な話じゃありません。
talk to me about it whenever you feel like it.
分かってますよ。
We must have arrived a little too early. There was barely anyone around.
あら、もっとゆっくり来ればよかったですね。
No harm in being a bit early. What is it?
ちょっと屋上に行ってみませんか？
Again? When it's so damn cold? You know what happened last time?
少しだけならいいでしょ？
She knew that if she asked me like that, I wouldn't be able to refuse.
この景色も見納めですね。
Last time, I told her she would have the rest of her school life to come up here. Funny how life can suddenly change at any moment.
ここで天文部の先輩たちと一緒に星を眺めて、部が潰れて、ゆうくんと会って。なんだかもう遠い昔のことみたい。すぐにもっと遠くなってしまうんでしょうね。
I think you'll still be able to come up here. All you have to do is wear your uniform.
いいえ。
She shook her head and pulled out a key from her pocket.
これ、ゆうくんに預けておきます。
To me? How come?
うまく言えないけど、ここは私が一人になるための場所でした。泣いてしまっても、誰にも見られないで済む場所。
I couldn't imagine what was going on in her mind up here before we met. If I tried, her pain would become mine.
でも、もう私は一人じゃないし、泣いたりもしない。大切な人とも出会いました。
She looked deep into my eyes and smiled.
だから、いらないんです。誰か必要としてる人にあげたいけど、 心当たりがないからあなたに預けておきます。
Sure, I'll take good care of it. I took the key from her. The roof wasn't a bad place. It would have been wasteful to keep it to ourselves. Yuko and I didn't need a particular location anymore. We were satisfied as long as we were together.
ゆうくん、この鍵が人から人へと伝わっていって、ずっと先にこの子が受け取ったりしたら面白いと思いません？
She grinned and placed her hand on her belly. If you want that to happen, we'll have to make sure that its grades are good enough to enter Ottawa Collegiate.
ゆうくんって厳しいお父さんになりそう。
We have to do what's best. She probably wanted to raise our child in a lax and easygoing manner. Well, at least we didn't have to worry about our child's education until much later.
よかった。
Huh?
あなたとここで再会して、恋をして、結ばれて、いろいろなことがあったけれど。
I waited for her to continue. However, she remained silent.
あら、予例ですね。
Weren't you about to say something?
私でも言えないことってあるものです。
Okay. She was probably worried about how I would react. If that was the case, maybe she was right to keep that to herself. It was my fault, really. I didn't have the personality to put up with a sentimental
行
conversation.
きましょう、ゆうくん。
We held hands and left the rooftop. I had to protect this hand I held, never letting go from here on to forever. The day was quiet for the most part. However, the class filled with noise once the report cards were given out. Nagi took one glance at the report card she received and smirked.
僕は生涯を芸術に捧げよう。
Her eyes wandered off. As for me, my grades didn't change from last year. They were all in the high 90s.
ちょっと勉強できるからっていい気になるなよ。
Bitter eyes turned on me. Hey, I'm not getting cocky.
そうそう。ゆうくんはいい成績取って当たり前と思ってるんですよね。
Yuko suddenly appeared in front of us.
それをいい気になってるって言うんじゃないのか？
なるほど。鋭いですね。ですけど、なぎさんはゆうくんと違って絵の才能はとんでもないんでしょ？
うん。はっきり言って世界を狙える器だな。
Uh-huh, sure you can.
そうだよな。僕の絵は世界を狙えるけど、ユウがどれだけ頭良くてもノーベル賞取れるわけじゃないものな。
Hey, there's more than just that.
最後に笑うのは僕だからな。覚えておけよ。
You're getting way too upset about this. They're just grades.
そういうこと言うのが嫌味なんだよ。
まあ、ゆうくんには悪気はないんだと思いますが。
なお悪いだろそれは。だいたいオトワはレベル高すぎるんだ。
You knew about Ottawa Collegiate's reputation coming in. Why'd you choose it?
制服が可愛いから。
Well, that's a good answer. The uniforms are great. I concur. Why am I not surprised?
なんて失礼な。
やっぱり先輩方は仲がよろしいですね。
Hey, as I was about to reply back, I noticed something.
どうかしたのか？
We've only been talking about each other. Let's see your report card, Yuko.
それでは、ゆうこはお友達と約束がありますので。
Nagi, yeah, she's cool. Not so fast. I seized the collar of her uniform before she could leave. Nice try. Come on, show us. She was quitting school, but I was still interested in her final marks. I wanted to see if my tutoring had made any differences.
お、
Sorry,
ゆ
any
うこちゃんは
difference.
僕の仲間か。
嬉しそうな顔しないでくださいよ。特別良かった科目はないですけど、ボロボロだった科目もないですよ、私は。
Are you really proud of that? Did I fail as a tutor, or was Yuko's learning ability near zero? It seemed that it was all a waste of time. Oh well. So Yuko, that appointment you mentioned, was it real?
ええ、ちょこっと。
Fine. Get out of here. Make sure to have plenty of fun.
あら？
But don't do anything stupid.
ゆうこちゃん、ゆうは何か悪いものでも食べたのか？
私と同じものを食べてるはずなんですけどね。
Now wait just a minute.
それではゆうくんの頭は心配ですけど、私はこの辺で。なぎさん、ゆうくんのことよろしくお願いしますね。
あ、任せてくれ。
Leave what to her?
では。
She bowed and left the classroom. Oh well, I decided to dismiss her behavior. She needed to enjoy being with her friends now because soon there wouldn't be much time for that.
ふん。
Nagi sat down again. What?
いや、
She grinned and slapped my back.
ゆうはやっぱりいい男だな。
Something wrong with you?
本当のことを言っただけだ、バカ。
My shift started at noon, so I had to head downtown instead of practicing with Nagi. Business was always brisk around this time of year. There were no breaks. I worked like a horse right up until closing. By the time we finished cleaning up, I could hardly move my body. Can't die here. I psyched myself and said goodbye to the manager and left the restaurant.
もうそろそろ休んだらどうですか？
Yuko made her suggestion as she plopped herself down beside me. Huh? You're still awake? I looked up from my notebook. The clock informed me that the date had already changed.
本当に集中力すごいですね。ここまで周りが見えなくなっちゃうなんて。
If only I had this kind of concentration while drawing.
そっちはまだ始めたばかりじゃないですか。これからこれから。
Great. I may as well give up for the time being. I grimaced at the sight of her cheeriness and closed my notebook. My body was still aching, so I figured it was about time to
お
stop.
茶でも入れましょうか。
Okay. Actually, on second thought, I'm going to bed. If I stay up, you'll probably stay awake
あ
too.
ら、バレました？
Of course, don't wear yourself out.
いやー、
Sorry.
ゆうくんの真剣なお顔につい見とれちゃってまして。
Why must you answer me in such a deliberately annoying fashion?
困らせようとしてるからでしょうね。
Ah, fine, I get it. Talk about an affable personality.
さあ、それではお布団敷いちゃいましょうか。
I made sure Yuko was in her own futon as I lay myself down. It may have been a tad chilly, but it otherwise felt great. All the tension in my body gradually slipped away. I must have been more tired than I thought. I closed my eyes and nearly passed out on the
ゆう
spot.
くん、
Yes?
あの
What is it?
実はお願いがありまして。
What's wrong?
そっちへ行ってもいいですか？
What? I couldn't believe it. However, I didn't think I misheard. Well, it's fine by me, but I answered a bit hastily. I don't know what you're planning, but maybe it's better to avoid that for now? Besides, I'm tired.
ゆうくん、何か勘違いしてません？
A confused voice traveled through the darkness.
私、ただゆうくんのお布団に入りたいって言ってるだけなんですけど。
Don't be so ambiguous then.
勝手に勘違いして怒らないでくださいよ。
I'm not mad. I could feel the blood rushing to my cheeks as I turned my back to
ゆう
her.
くんってば、エッチなんですよね。
Enough already, just be quiet and sleep.
私のお願いは？
Do whatever you want. I straightened my back so that Yuko would be looking right at my spine. That was a terrible mistake.
失礼します。
I felt my sheets move. Yuko had slid herself beside me.
ふふふふふ。
What's with the freaky laugh? Yuko nestled up perfectly against my back. I felt something soft pressing against it.
ごめんなさい。
Why are you apologizing?
そういうのはもうちょっと我慢してください。今は控えた方がいいみたいなんで。
I know. With those words, my heart started to beat at a slightly less frantic pace. If it was for her sake, I would try to keep my emotions from getting the better of me. Yuko. I rolled myself over to face her and wrapped my arms snugly around her. It's better to be warm, right?
はい。
I could hear the glee in Yuko's voice. Are you comfortable? Or does it feel awkward?
平気です。やっぱり無理してお布団もう一組買わなくてもよかったかもしれませんね。
She pressed herself closer against me.
ほら、二人で一つの布団の方がいいじゃないですか。
It would hurt after a while. It's cramped in here. We had this conversation when we planned to buy a futon. Though we lived together, the thought of buying only one futon made me feel uneasy. If we slept in the same one, it would have been impossible to suppress our carnal instincts. We would have done it every night. But it's nice every once in a while.
私はいつもこうしていたいです。
Aren't those, like... I'm just wondering about the proportions of their bodies and the futons that we're seeing. Aren't those, like, a little bit big? I don't know. Like, I'm imagining that their legs are... Given the sizing of their heads and the pillow, their legs probably don't reach anywhere near the bottom edge. So isn't that like a bit of an ocean of a futon? Are they even like that? Aren't they a little bit more... I don't know, made to fit the size of the body? I don't know.
ゆうくんとずっと一緒がいいです。こうしていれば夢の中でも一緒にいられそう。
Could you please not talk like that? This is embarrassing.
私だって恥ずかしいんですよ。
Then don't say it.
だって
I suddenly felt the warmth of Yuko's lips on my own.
だって本当のことですから。
Alright, I see, Infinity. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just like an issue of weird proportions in this drawing and we shouldn't think too much into it. You are such an idiot sometimes. I stole a kiss of my own and tightened my embrace. From that night onward, we always slept in the same futon. Our bodies were pressed against one another, our fingers firmly intertwined. Neither of us would let go until both of us greeted the morning sun. Angel's Stairway. Oh man. There was much I had wanted over the course of my life. I lost almost everything, so I kept trying to fill that void. I thought I finally did it. All the hardships I had to deal with were vanquished. A normal life was beckoning. That was what was supposed to happen. Christmas morning. It was a normal morning, no different than any other. Yuko woke me up and we had a warm breakfast. Thank you for the food.
はい、お粗末様でした。
She gathered out our tableware into a tray. I'll clean up.
病人扱いしないでくださいよ。
I relented. She got the better of me again.
それに今日は調子がいいんです。
I still think you should take it easy for a while.
皿洗いくらい何の問題もないですよ。いいからお任せください。
Okay, but tell me if you need any help.
ええ、私だって無理はしたくないですから。
She smiled. I would watch her closely and intervene if needed.
ゆうくんの方こそいいんですか？
Me?
今日は早めに入って仕込みから手伝うんでしょ？のんびりしてていいんですか？
Oh, I looked at my watch and realized that more time had passed than I expected. It's time.
ほらほら、急ぎましょう。あとは全部私がやっておきますから、ご心配なく。
Sorry about that. I stood up and put on my coat. You know where we're meeting, right?
え、
I expect to clock out on time, but if I don't... She nodded before I could finish.
クリスマスですからね。お客さんも多いでしょう。マスターさんは帰らせてくれるでしょうけど、忙しいようなら仕方ないです。多少の遅刻は目をつぶりますよ。
Okay, thanks for understanding. Just make sure to wait inside the church. At least it's better than staying outside.
はいはい、わかってますよ。
She brought her face next to mine.
待ってますから。
Don't worry, I won't make you wait long.
はい。
I leaned in and kissed her. Her lips were a little cold, but they were soft. I wanted us to stay like this for a while. However, it wouldn't be. I had to work my shift. Yuko,
はい。
our mornings were always the same. Today's breakfast. It was good. This time, however, I did something different.
あらあらららら
Ah, you're annoying! I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I was hoping for a cuter response. I'll be going now.
ちょっと待ってください、ゆうくん。
She took hold of my hand and placed it on her abdomen.
ほら、パパに言いなさい。いってらっしゃいって。
Touching her belly was supposed to be a silly gesture. However, I could feel something. I felt the life that was in Yuko's body. It was definitely there. Alright.
はい、いってらっしゃい。
Her smile looked different. It seemed to be even more gentle than usual. I knew why. It was because she had already become a mother.
朝食の片付けと洗濯を済ませると手持ち無沙汰になってしまった。掃除はゆうくんが早起きして済ませてしまっている。それくらい私に任せてくれればいいのに、こんなにのんびりしてたら太っちゃいそう。産婦人科で少し話したおばさんは、出産後はなかなか体型が元通りにならなくて困ったそうだ。私もそうなるんだろうか。なんて恐ろしい話だ。すぐそばにゆうくんが図書館で借りてきた出産のマニュアルが積まれている。実を言うとあまり読む気がしない。私が考えなければならないのは雨宮の養父母をどう説得するかであり、説得できたところでその後どうやって生活していくかだ。仕方ないですよね。私はつぶやいて勝手に使わせてもらっている棚を開け、衣類をどけると小さな封筒が現れた。封筒の口を開け、中身を取り出す。私名義の預金通帳とハンコ。あの人と共に焼け落ちてしまった雨宮の家。その焼け跡から出てきた金庫の中から見つかったものだ。
Yeah, I agree that there are aspects that are better executed in their day-to-day life here than with Nagisa and Tomoya, but yeah, there is still something very endearing about Nagisa and Tomoya that's it's specific to them, and I don't know, my heart will always get fuzzy when I think about them living together. So. But I'm glad you're enjoying this. Ah.
兄さん、私はこの通帳の存在を知らなかったけれど、おじさんはこれは優子のものだと言った。口座には決して少ないとは言えない額が入っている。思えばあの人には特に趣味らしい趣味もなく、毎日タバコをふかしているだけだった。生活費以外にほとんどお金を使わず、私の口座にお金を振り込み続けていた。おそらく私の将来のために。
At least he did one good thing for her, I guess. Not that it washes away all the bad things he did.
何なんでしょうね。何を考えていたのだろう、あの人は。今でも許す気持ちは全くない。だけど、私を憎んでいただけではないと、やっぱりそうも思えてしまう。このお金のことをゆうくんに話したらどうなるだろう。多分、ゆうくんは使おうとしない。これを使えば楽になると分かっていても。
Yeah, now this like kind of plays onto all of his past reservations when receiving things from people. That is very true. He would probably not accept it, both out of pride and out of that sense of like not wanting to be helped and so on. But if the money exists, like they should just use it.
私はお腹をそっと撫でる。この子はゆうくんと私の子供だ。だから私たちの力で育てるんだ。それが大人になるということ。人の親になるということ。ゆうくんと私、生まれてくる子供の3人で支え合うんだ。私たちは家族になるのだから。
Work was chaotic. I was often forced to ask people to share tables. Normally my job consisted of regular server duties, but not this day. I also had to assist the back of house by making pasta and sandwiches. However, I couldn't become discouraged. After this was over, I would get to spend some quiet time with Yuko. We would have a nice dinner together.
買い物を済ませ、私はクリスマスの街を歩く。あちこちから音楽が聞こえ、道行く人々はみんな楽しそうだ。街は活気に満ち、今にも雪が降りそうな寒さを誰も気にしていないかのよう。思わずため息が出た。さっきの買い物で先月分のアルバイト料はクリスマスだから。
Sorry, I
さっきの
scrolled too
買い物
fast.
で先月分のアルバイト料はほとんど使い切ってしまった。
There it is.
クリスマスだから、とりあえずそれで自分を納得させる。年に一度だけのことなのだから、あまり気に病むのはやめよう。いない。公園にいるのはカップルばかりで、ミキの姿はどこにもない。また、教会のあたりをうろうろしているんだろう。子供って人の話聞きませんからね。叱られた直後は言うことを聞いてもすぐに忘れてしまう。だから大人が見守ってあげないと。ふと何かがすごいスピードで頭をよぎっていった。今のはひどく懐かしい誰かの顔と私を呼ぶ声が聞こえたような。誰なの？どうしても思い出すことができなかった。だけど間違いなく私が知っている誰かだった。あまりにも一瞬のことだったので顔も声ももうわからない。教会の建物が見えてきた。もう諦めよう。いつか思い出すこともあるかもしれないし。あら？道路の向こう側、教会の前にミキがいた。そしてミキの隣には同い年くらいの女の子がいて、何か話している。ミキははにかみながらも楽しそうな顔。あの子にも友達ができたんだ。よかったですね、ミキ。ちゃんと友達が作れるようになったのなら、ミキはもう大丈夫。きっとあの子の毎日は楽しいものになる。二人はしばらく楽しそうに話してから、友達の方が手を振ってどこかに歩いていった。ミキがこちらに気づいた。驚くほど明るい顔をして、はっとしたようにうつむいてしまう。まったく意地っ張りですね。何してるんでしょうか。しばらくそうしてたかと思うと、やがて思い切ったようにこちらに向かって歩き出した。私を見るのが恥ずかしいのか、ちゃんと前を向いていないので、ものすごく危なっかしい。しょうがない子ですね。私も彼女のところへ一歩を踏み出したその瞬間に、高く響くエンジン音が聞こえた。ミキがのんびり顔を上げる。その時にはすでに黒い車体が絶望的な距離まで近づいていた。 時間が止まったような気がした。目の前の光景が全てが驚くほど鮮明に見える。ミキは大きな目をいっぱいに見開いて迫り来る危機を見つめている。凍りついてしまったかのように彼女は動かない。甲高い音が響いてタイヤが激しくきしむ。間に合わない。間に合うはずがない。ミキの口が小さく開かれた。彼女は何かをつぶやいたようだった。だけど聞こえない。何も聞こえない。いつまでも続くと思われた一瞬が終わろうとしている。終わってしまう。
I jogged through downtown, ignoring all the Christmas jingles. The crowd made it difficult to walk normally without wasting time. Excuse me. Then I noticed who I bumped into. Oh, it's you, Nagi.
僕なら謝らなくていいとでも？
No, you're right. Sorry.
別にいいが、君は何してるんだ？
I'm in a hurry. Maybe later? I tried to leave her, but she followed me. What? Something you want?
僕はただ暇つぶししてるだけだ。今日デッサン休みたいって言ったのは、ユコちゃんとの約束があるからじゃないのか？
I said I'm in a hurry.
なるほど、納得だ。ユウ、ちゃんとプレゼントは買ったのか？
That's none of your concern. She didn't have to remind me. I wasn't that forgetful. The manager allowed me to clock out on schedule, but choosing a present took a lot of time.
ユウは変なところで気が利かないからな。何を買ったんだ？
I had my right hand behind my back in order to hide my present from her, but it was futile.
まさか、師匠である僕に隠し事はないだろう？
Fine, but don't laugh. Being coy would have only made matters worse. I reluctantly held out my right hand.
ほー。
What?
いや、まさかユウが花束とはね。
It wasn't very large, but it was the best I could do within my budget. I had second thoughts about buying flowers for grave visiting. However, in the end, it was Yuko whom I wanted to please.
花束なんて、日村ユウに一番似合わないアイテムだな。
Shut up about that already.
でもな、ユウコちゃんには似合うよ。
ん？
ユウコちゃんには花がよく似合う。
You sure?
もちろんだよ。
Well, everywhere was packed. I couldn't see anything, and the lines were huge. I was hiding my embarrassment with small talk.
僕に言われても困るんだが。
If you're following me, the least you can do is hear me vent.
とてつもないわがままだな。
Just how far are you planning to follow me anyway?
君たちのデートを邪魔する気はない。ここで別れよう。
She stopped walking. Ah, before I left, maybe it would be a good idea to mention the pregnancy to her.
どうかしたか？
Actually, forget it, I'll tell you later. I was already late, and it wasn't as though I would never see Nagi again. Well, see you. She stared upwards in awe. What? I looked up, and there... Oh! Beams of sunlight were seeping through the thick clouds. It was an unbelievable sight that was nothing short of a phantasmagoria.
天使の階段だな。
A what?
ヤコブのはしごとか、天使のはしごとも言うかな。あの光の中を天使が上り下りしてるんじゃないかって考えた人がいたんだろう。
Angels, huh? I'm surprised you know that.
さらにレンブラント光線とも言うんだ。
The artist?
他にいないだろう。彼の独特な光線の使い方に似ているからそう呼ばれることもあるらしい。僕も画家を目指す人間の端くれだからな。だけど僕は天使の階段という呼び方が一番好きだな。ほら、どことなくロマンチックな響きがあるだろ。
Well, I couldn't disagree with her about that. I suppose the name fits.
だろ？というか、僕が言うのもなんだが、
Huh?
ユウ、君は急いでるんじゃなかったのか？
Oh.
さっさと言ってやれ。余計なこと言ってすまなかったな。
No, it's not every day you see something like this. Don't worry about it. See you. There was no time to be staring at the sky. I began to walk, but I really should have been jogging instead. Yuko was waiting for me at the church.
誰かが泣いている。悲しい泣き声だ。やめて。お願いだから泣かないで。目を開けると視界はぼやけていた。頬に冷たい地面の感触がする。どうやら地面に倒れてしまっているようだ。手が動いてくれない。目をこすりたくてもまるで体が言うことを聞かない。お姉ちゃん！ミッキー。お姉ちゃん！よかった。やっと呼び捨て。やめて。この子にだけは無様な姿を見せたくない。私は力を振り絞って立ち上がる。崩れそうになる膝に力を入れる。ダメ！お姉ちゃん寝てなくちゃダメだよ！道路で寝たりしちゃいけないんですよ。ミキの頭に手を置いて髪を撫でてあげた。お姉ちゃん、だって車に。そうか。少しずつ記憶が戻ってくる。ミキを思いっきり突き飛ばして、それから逃げちゃって。ミキ、怪我はないの？平気。でもお姉ちゃん。ミキが無事ならいいんですよ。ほら、私だって。あの車の運転手は私たちが死んだと思ったのかもしれない。だったら仕方ないことだ。人を殺すのは恐ろしい。だから私もずっとあの人に刃を向けることができなかった。救急車を！大丈夫。慌てないで。私、こう見えても結構丈夫なんです。痛いのなんて全然平気ですよ。本当？ミキに嘘はつきません。さっきから肩に鈍い痛みが走っている。多分肩が外れているか、もっとひどいことになっているかも。でもちょっとここは寒すぎますね。中に入りましょう。お姉ちゃん。
It would be nice to welcome Christmas in the summer, too. I suddenly remembered that specific line from Yuko. Looking back, she hardly told me anything about what happened right after the great disaster. All I knew was that she was waiting by herself for her mother to come home. That was what that man said. Yuko must have been cold. Lonely, too. Maybe she wished for a summer Christmas because of that. I wanted to experience it. A summer Christmas with her. I was almost at the church. We had to promise each other. I didn't know when it would happen, but I would take her to a place where we could spend Christmas in warmth. She would definitely enjoy that. The church was in view. First I had to apologize for being late. Then I had to give her the present. Then I had to say what I hadn't said all this time.
いつも悲しいことばかりだった。 寂しくて寂しくて一人ぼっちで泣いてばかりいた。でも今は違う。ナギさん、クゼ先輩、クラスのみんな、
お姉ちゃん。
ミキもいる。そしてユウくん。ユウくんと私の赤ちゃん。私には大切にしたいものがたくさんある。もう寂しくなんかない。そういえば、ミキ、あなた、お友達ができたんですね。お友達は大切にしなきゃいけませんよ。ミキは必死にうなずいている。そうだ、あなたにプレゼントがあったのに、どこに行ったのかしら。
そんなのいいから。
後で探しに行きましょう。
そんなのいいから。
ミキ、いけませんよ、そんな顔してちゃ。女の子はいつもニコニコ笑ってるのが一番です。私はミキの頭を軽く撫でてあげる。ミキ、ちょっとだけ待っててね。体がうまく動いてくれない。違う。体の感覚がまるでなくなっているのか。もう肩の痛みも消えてしまった。足ってどうやって動かしていたっけ。そんなことを考えながら少しずつ進んでいく。あら、足元が赤い。これは血。言うことを聞かない手を何とか動かして頭に触れてみる。触っても痛くもなんともない。なんともないのに手のひらは血で真っ赤に染まっていた。血の量そのものは大したことないと思う。だけど私の中から何かが確実に失われつつあるのを感じる。おかしいな。だけど疑問もすぐにどこかへ飛んでいってしまう。何も考えられなくなっている。祭壇の前。よかった。たどり着けた。目がかすむ。もうほとんど何もわからない。何度も意識が途切れそうになる。だけど私、やっぱりあなたなんか信じていません。でももしもあなたが本当にいるのなら。お姉ちゃん、やだよ。私は死にたくない。話したいことがまだまだたくさんあるんです。もっと私のことを知ってもらいたいんです。私の思いを伝えたいんです。両手を組み合わせ祭壇を見上げる。この子と一緒に待ってるって約束したんですよ。何でもします。だからもう一度私たちをユウくんに合わせて。視界が白く染まった。一面がひたすらに真っ白な世界。私はどこにいるの？どこからか子守歌が聞こえる。柔らかく響く儚げな歌。穏やかで すべてを包み込むような。歌っているのは誰？歌っているのは私だ。私が知らない私がいる。日だまりの中で小さな命を抱きかかえている私が、泣いている赤ちゃん、赤ちゃんをあやす歌声。メロディーは静かに流れていく。まだ赤ちゃんは泣いている。小さな手足をばたつかせている。それでも私は微笑みを浮かべてふっと顔を上げる。あの人がそばにいた。
笑ってるな。
え？
ほら、こんなに嬉しそうにしてるじゃないか。
あら、本当ですね。さっきまで泣いてたのに。
お母さんの歌が好きなんだろ。
いい子ですね。
ああ、いい子だ。
ささやかだけど満たされた毎日。長く長くいつまでも続いていく温かな時間。ずっと一緒ですよね。この子と私とあなたで。
そうだ。一緒だよ。
はい。伝わってくるぬくもりに涙がこぼれそうになる。もう一人ぼっちじゃない。私たちは家族になって、そしてすぐそばにある苦しいほどに愛しい未来がすぐそばに。ゆうくん、早く来て。あなたの声を聞かせて。ここは寒すぎるからあなたの腕に抱かれたい。ちゃんと待ってますから。約束通りにここで待ってますから。
Oh man. The first thing I saw when I arrived was what appeared to be scattered litter. Upon further inspection, I noticed there were parts of a figurine. What happened here? There was also some sort of stain on the pavement. Blood, maybe? I picked up a ripped paper bag among the litter. When I looked inside, I found a dirty, ragged scarf. A lost item? Then my heart jolted. This couldn't be what I thought it was. The blood traces continued into the church. I approached cautiously. Someone had to be behind that door. I bet Yuko was eagerly waiting inside. That was my suggestion this morning. Yuko would be inside after I opened the door. "You are late, Yukun," she would tease me with her sweet smile. I couldn't think of any other possibility. No time to waste. Yuko was susceptible to loneliness, so I needed to head inside. I extended my trembling arm and opened the door. I once knew of a girl. She was unhappy all the time. I believed she was always crying on the inside. However, she never forgot what it was like to be kind. She was a normal girl, gentle and beautiful. Her life should have been one with happiness. No. My voice was shaking. No, why? I held Yuko's delicate body. Her cheeks were soft and warm. If they were soft and warm, then why? Why wouldn't she open her eyes?
お姉ちゃんは
Miki, the orphan girl, was standing next to me in a daze.
車が。お姉ちゃん、私を助けて。お姉ちゃんが。
Excuse me, but I didn't care about some car. It's alright. That wasn't what I wanted to hear. Go to the orphanage and have someone call the ambulance. My voice was so soft, I wasn't sure she heard me. I didn't move my eyes away from Yuko. Then Miki sprinted out of the church. Yuko and I were alone. The church was too quiet. It felt as though time had stopped. Yuko. I already knew. Her face was the same as when she was sleeping. I wanted her to respond, but Yuko was not here. She was gone. Yuko, where did you go? You said you'd wait. We promised. I put my face up to hers. We'd make a family, the three of us. A family. I choked up. Neither of them could hear me. Yuko, don't leave me. Come back. Come back. Please, Yuko, one more time. Talk to me. Just let me see your smile. Oh man. Okay. Okay. That's a good point for tonight. I mean, a proper point to put a pause, not that any of that was good. Yeah. Okay. No. Oh, I'm okay. Mm. Thanks for being there. Yeah. It's not like I didn't see it coming, because I knew it would happen, but the whole pregnancy thing is new to me. I don't think my memory is that bad. I don't think this was there in the anime. I had no idea. It just added a layer of like, oh my god. Okay. Alright. I mean, in a way, we already knew that it wasn't going to happen because we knew what Yu's life was in the future. And he was alone and there was no kid, so it was there all along, but man, it still hurts. Right. Yeah, thank you, Beatrice. I really appreciate you being there with me for this. It means a lot. Yeah. We'll see the conclusion, I guess, next time. Or maybe, wait, did it change just now? Light, really? There you go. To be honest, I'm not sure exactly how much longer it's going to go. If it's gonna be 1 or 2 streams. I would say there isn't enough content left for 2 streams, but who knows? At this point, I don't know anything because there's plenty of different aspects in the novel that I was not aware of. So we'll see where it goes. But for the time being, this is it for this week. Tomorrow I have a big day at work, so I'm gonna go rest really, really well. And yeah, fingers crossed that it's gonna go all right. I have everything already planned out. I have everything already tested, so it's just a matter of executing it once again from the top just as rehearsed. So yeah, send me all your positive vibes because I'm gonna need them. Yeah. Thanks again, and I will see you again next week, following our regular schedule of Tuesdays and Thursdays. And thank you. And yeah, if we finish F, we'll see how we proceed after that. I'll think about it during the weekend when I have some mental space to actually think about other things other than work. Yeah. Thanks again, guys. Take care. Have a nice weekend. Take care of yourselves. Eat nutritious food. Don't skip meals. Hydrate. Get some sun. Now that it's getting quite bright and summery. I guess if you are on the northern hemisphere. I'm not aware of anyone being down south. So yeah, take care of yourselves. Hopefully get some rest and relaxation in there, and I'll see you again Tuesday. Take care.